impacted by the world's two largest humanitarian disasters fear they've been forgotten.
Adil al-Sari knows the pain and fear so many Ukrainians have experienced the last few weeks. It's become his reality now for nearly 8 years.
We don't get to see our families, especially my kids haven't seen my dad and mom for about 8 years now. Whenever my mom calls me, she tells me, are we going to see your kids before we die? Are we going to see your kids before we die?
Al-Sari lives with his children near Toronto, but his mom, dad, brother and sisters live in Sana'a, the capital city of Yemen, where war and famine mean their lives are constantly under threat.
It's really horrible and difficult, especially when we hear our friends here, when their family dies because of this war. And, we just imagine, when would we get the news ourselves?
The war in Ukraine has triggered a devastating humanitarian crisis, but it is by no means the largest in the world. While the United Nations estimates 12 million people in Ukraine require aid, more than 13 million people are in need in Syria. Afghanistan and Yemen each have a staggering 24 million people in crisis.
That is a danger, is that, the new shiny crisis is often where the attention is directed, and so then people do shift their donations away from one crisis to another.
It's why the UN and aid agencies are now struggling to raise necessary supports. A virtual pledge event held last week for assistance to Yemen came up $3 billion short.
What kind of choices are humanitarians faced with when you're not seeing the level of funding and the level of support that's needed? They're very difficult choices.
Choices al-Sari can't bear to consider. Though he understands the pain of so many Ukrainians, it pains him to feel that when it comes to his home country, the world has looked away. Heather Yurix West, Global News, Washington.
زي ما شفتوا الخبر قبل قليل، حاولنا ان احنا نتكلم عن العريضة والاشياء هذه، ولكنه لقطوا الاشياء اللي احتوى علشان الخبر تبعهم. رغم ان احنا تكلمنا عن العريضة وتكلمت عن المأساة عن اليمن كامل وكذا، ولكنه ركزوا واخذوا الكلام اللي حابوا انهم يحطوه. بس ان شاء الله بنحاول مرة ثانية ومرة ثالثة ومرة رابعة ان شاء الله لما نوصل رسالتنا عن العريضة تبعنا المقدمة الحكومة الكندية عشان اليمن وعشان المأساة في اليمن، بس مش عشان حاجة شخصية فقط. يلا الحمد لله. كنت متوقع انهم بيتكلموا بيعرضوا الكلام يتكلمتوا عن العريضة، بس الحمد لله.